these questions are based on the following data. What is the data? Exactly 6 persons from amongst 5 boys A, B, C, D, E and 4 girls P, Q, R, S are to sit in 6 chairs which are arranged in a row from left to right, and the others must stand. The following conditions are to be adhered to while making the arrangement. So basically it's about arrangement of 6 persons, right? 6 persons who have to be arranged in 6 chairs, right? And these chairs have been arranged from left to right. Okay. Now who all will be these 6 persons? See, we have a group of 5 boys, A, B, C, D are the 5 boys, and 4 girls, P, Q, R, S are the 4 girls. So altogether, if you see 5 boys and 4 girls, we have 9 persons, of which 6 have to be chosen. 6 persons have to be chosen out of these 9 and made to sit in these 6 chairs which are arranged from left to right, and the others must stand. So obviously out of 9, if 6 are seated in these 6 chairs, then the remaining 3 will stand, right? The following conditions are to be adhered to while making the arrangement. So there are some conditions which are given here. We have to stick to these conditions, right? Whatever arrangement you do, these conditions cannot be violated, right? So look at the first one. The first condition says no 2 girls sit in adjacent seats. No 2 girls sit in adjacent seats. Understand that there are 6 positions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now no 2 girls sit in adjacent seats means what? What does it mean? The girls should not come together. No 2 girls have to come together, right? There must be at least 1 boy between every pair of 2 girls. You getting it? There has to be at least 1 boy in between 2 girls, right? The girls cannot be consecutive. Having said that, one point which needs to be understood is the boys can be together. See, when he says no 2 girls sit in adjacent seats, maybe the immediate thought that we get is it can be girl, boy, girl, boy, girl, boy kind of arrangement, right? The girls are not together. They are in alternate positions, and hence boys are also in alternate positions. But this is not the only possibility. If this is what has come to your mind, then you are wrong. Because the question says no 2 girls sit in adjacent seats, which means the boys can be together. Boys can be in adjacent seats. You're able to follow. Again, I'm using the word can. Boys can be in adjacent seats. It is not compulsory that boys have to be in adjacent seats, but boys can come together. The girls should not come together. The girls should not come together. Let me give you some examples. Like for example, this, I'm not saying this is wrong. This is correct, but this is not the only possibility. Don't misunderstand again. Right? Girl, boy, girl, boy, girl, boy is one of the possibilities. But this is not the only possibility. There are other cases as well, right? So if you think this is the only way to do it, then you are wrong. So let us look at what are the possible ways, right? Some of the possible ways of doing it, right? Clearly the point that I'm trying to make is no 2 girls sit in adjacent seats implies boys can be in adjacent seats. So what are the possibilities? First case, I can say, let's say we start with a girl. Girl, boy, girl, boy, girl, boy. Or let's start with the boy. Boy, girl, boy, girl, boy, girl. What are we trying to follow? We are trying to make sure that the girls are not together. No 2 girls are together. No 2 girls are in adjacent seats. Is there any other way of doing it? Yes, there are other ways of doing it. For example, let's say we have girl, boy, boy, girl, boy, girl. So here if you observe, the girls are not together, but 2 of the boys have come together. Yes or no? Similarly, I can say there is 4th way of doing it, right? Like girl, boy, boy, and girl. Here again, if you see, the girls are in alternate positions, but 2 boys have come together. I mean, not in alternate positions, the girls are not together. So in all the 4 cases that we have considered, the girls are not together, right? 1 boy is there, at least 1 boy is there. Here only 1 boy, right? Only 1 boy. Here also you can see only 1 boy between the girls. But here we've got 2 boys. Here also we've got 2 boys, right? So boys can be together. That possibility is there. Okay. So I'm stressing on the point that, never jump to a conclusion that the girls and boys have to come in alternate positions. No, need not be, right? There can be other ways of doing it, like we have seen here, right? And maybe there are more cases. Let's not think too much about it, but yeah, the point is girls should never be together. Next point, look at the next condition. Exactly 3 boys should be among those who are seated in these 6 chairs. Exactly 3 boys. Each term is important. Exactly 3 boys. There cannot be more than 3 boys or less than 3 boys. Exactly 3 boys should be among those who are seated in the 6 chairs. Now understand, we have got 5 boys and 4 girls. The total requirement is 6 persons, right? 6 persons have to be chosen. He says out of these 6 persons, exactly 3 boys have to come. So obviously if there are 3 boys, then there have to be 3 girls. Yes or no? So 3 boys among 5 boys and 3 girls among 4 girls. That is the requirement, right? Simple understanding. Exactly 3 boys means exactly 3 girls have to be taken, because total requirement is 6 persons, right? So the input is 5 boys and 4 girls, output will be 3 boys and 3 girls, right? Point number 3, A and P are seated next to each other. A and P are seated next to each other. Now what does this mean? A and P are seated next to each other. First observation should be that A and P are seated. Definitely A and P are seated. A and P are not standing. So A has been selected. Among the boys, A is definitely selected. Among the girls, P is definitely selected. Because he has given, right, these conditions has to be met. All the conditions have to be met. Where the third condition is A and P are seated next to each other. So clearly out of the 5 boys, A is into the group, and P is also, among the girls, P is into the group. We don't have any clue about who are the other 2 boys or other 2 girls, but A is definitely one of the boys and P is definitely one of the girls who are seated, and moreover they are seated next to each other, which means what? Either AP will come together or it can be PA. Both A and P have to be together. So it can be A followed by P or P followed by A, right? AP or PA. So that's condition number 3. Remember, A and P are always selected. Condition number 4, if E sits, then R also sits, and vice versa. But they do not sit next to each other. Now look at it, read the statement condition carefully. He has used the word if. Like in the previous statement, he did not use any if or a conditional word there, right? He clearly mentioned that A and P are seated. But here he says if E sits, then R also sits, and vice versa, which means if E is in the group, then R is also in the group. If R is in the group, then E is also into the group. However, they do not sit next to each other. So what does this mean? This point means that E and R will go together. You understand? If E is in the group, then R is also into the group. If R is in the group, then E is also into the group. But they will not sit next to each other, right? ER or RE is not allowed. This is not allowed, right? E and R being together or R and E being together is not allowed. If E is there, then R has to be there. If R is there, then E has to be there, right? Last point, if P or R sits, then Q will stand. If P or R sits, then Q will stand. Which means if P is in the group or R is in the group, then Q has to stand. So very clear, simple point that if P is there in the group, or let's say R is there in the group who are to be seated, then Q will stand. Q will not be selected. Well, it looks like a simple point, but there is a lot of information available here, right? Try to connect point number 5 with point number 3. See, independently point number 5 is very clear that if P is there or R is there, then Q will stand, right? If P is there, R is there, then Q will stand. But then if you connect point number 5 with point number 3, if you combine 3 and 5, you will get a lot of information there. See, point number 3 had clearly mentioned that P is selected. See, this is actually a if condition. If P is there or R is there, then Q will stand. But point number 3 clearly states that P is into the group. Now, according to point number 5, if P is there into the group, then Q will stand. If P is there into the group, Q will stand. So we know that P is definitely there, which means Q is definitely out of the group. Whatever be the question type, Q will never be selected because P has been selected. You're able to follow? This is very, very important. You got to understand this. While it is actually a if case, but point number 3 clearly mentioned that A and P are seated. So P is there in the group. If P is there in the group, then Q will not be in the group. And because Q is out of the group, R and S have to be selected. Why will R and S have to be selected? Because we want 3 girls. 3 girls have to be selected out of the 4 girls here. Have to be chosen. Already Q is out of the group. So the only choice we have is P, R and S. P, R, S. These 3 have to come. You're getting it? So the hidden information there is P, R and S have been selected. P, R, S are selected into the group. P, R, S are selected into the group. Yes or no? Because Q is out, P, R, S will definitely be there. And because R has been selected, go back to point number 4 now. We have connected 3 with 5. We came to this conclusion that P, R and S are there in the group. And if P, R and S are there in the group, if you now connect with point number 4, what does it say? If E sits, then R also sits, and vice versa. So because R is there in the group, look at this. What did we decide? If R is there in the group, then E will also be there in the group. So E also has got selected. Yes or no? R and E will not be together, but R and E are in the group. They will not sit together, but they are in the group together. You're able to follow? So because of point number 5, 3 and 4, by the combination of 3, 4 and 5, we have chosen 5 persons already. We have chosen 2 boys. A and E will definitely be there in the group. And the 3 girls who will definitely be there in the group are P, R and S. And Q is out of it. The only thing that we will have to now worry about is who is the third boy. It can be B or C or D, one among B, C, D. One among B, C, D. I hope you are able to follow. So that is the reason I said spend some time with the conditions. You will get a lot of information there. Right? So now if you have to summarize, very clearly we know that no two girls sit in adjacent seats. So girls should never be together. But we have looked at the cases where boys can be together, right? So keep that in mind. We know that 3 boys have to be selected and 3 girls have to be selected from point number 2. And from point 3, 4 and 5, what do we come to, what do we decide? We decide that P, R and S are in, Q is out. And out of A, B, C, D, E, A and E are in. One among B, C, D has to be selected. And if B selected, C and D are out. If C selected, B and D are out. And if D selected, B and C are out. Alright, let us now look at the questions. Right, we have only analyzed the conditions so far. Let's now look at the questions one after the other. Okay, so I'll have to clear all this, but make a note of the key points. A and E are definitely inside, P, R, S are definitely inside. Let me present the first question. So here's the first question. Now remember, I'll just highlight what all we have decided, right? A and E are there in the group, P, R and S are there in the group. Q is eliminated. Okay, now look at this question. If C sits at the extreme left end, and A is sitting in the second seat from the extreme right end, then who sits to the immediate right of A? Then who sits to the immediate right of A? Now that we have already analyzed these conditions in detail, it becomes a lot easier for us to solve the question. Right? So according to question number 1 here, this question, C sits at the extreme left end, which means C has been selected. C has been selected. According to this question, it is not always. According to this question, C has been selected. So we now know who are the 3 boys and the 3 girls. A, C, E are the 3 boys. P, R and S are the 3 girls. We know that there are total 6 positions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's try and arrange. What does he say? C sits at the extreme left end. What is extreme left end? This is extreme left end. And A is sitting in the second seat from extreme right end. Second seat from extreme right end. So this is the extreme right end. Second seat from extreme right end is this, A. Then who sits to the immediate right of A? Who sits to the immediate, what is right of A? Right of A is this position. So who sits on the immediate right of A is the question. Who sits on the immediate right of A? Who sits on the immediate right of A? You getting it? I'll give you 30 seconds. Try and answer this question now. I've only marked what is given in the question, right? C is at the extreme left end. A is in the second seat from the extreme right end. Who will come on the immediate right of A? Immediate right of A is this position. Who will come in this position? Remember the other point that was given here was A and P are seated next to each other. A and P are together. AP or PA. Both are possible. Okay. And also genders are important. So this is like a, C is a boy, A is a boy. So how would you arrange the girls is the question here. I think the only possibility would be girl here, boy here, girl here and girl here. Yes or no? There is no other way out. Because first seat and the fifth seat are already blocked by boys. The only way we can arrange the girls are girl, boy, girl, boy, girl. Yeah. Yes or no? The 2 odd positions are occupied by boys. So all the even positions have to be occupied by girls. Anyway, so these are some of the hints that I've given you. Let me see what is the answer you get. Who sits to the immediate right of A? So I can see that some of you have got the answer as cannot be determined, option 4. But there are others who have got the answer as option 2, R. So let's look at the solution. Now try and understand. I have told you that, we have considered that one way of arranging these persons is boys, girl, boy, girl, boy, girl, boy, girl. Because, it is fixed that the first position is occupied by boy and the fifth position is occupied by boy. So if I have to choose 3 positions for girls here in such a way that the girls are not together, the only way I can do it is the alternate positions here for girls and this position for girl, right? Now understand, out of the 3 boys A, C, E, already A and C have been put. The only boy left is E now, and the only position available for that boy is this one. Yes or no? So E has to come here. We very well know that if E and R are in the group, but E and R will not sit next to each other. Yes or no? E and R or R and E is not allowed, which means R is a girl again. R is a girl who has to be taking one of these 3 positions. But can R come here in this position? No, because E and R are not together. Can R come in this position? No. So definitely R has to come here. There is no other choice, right? R has to come here. And if R comes in this position, we have got the answer. That's what is asked, right? Who sits to the immediate right of A? Who sits to the immediate right of A? Immediate right of A is R. Immediate right of A is R. So answer should be option 2. I know many of you have got the answers cannot be determined, option 4, because we thought P can come here or here. But if you actually analyze it properly, you will find that the only position that R can take is the extreme right one here, because E is coming here. Why is E coming in this position? Because C and A have taken the first and the fifth positions. So E has to take the third position. And if E takes the third position, R cannot come in second and fourth positions, because E and R are not together. If R cannot come in second or fourth position, R has to come in the sixth position. So answer will be option 2. Who sits to the immediate right of A? Immediate right of A is going to be R. Clear all of you? Let's move to the next question. Let me clear this up. Let's go to the next question. Now before again we go to the next question, remember A and E are definitely in, P, R and S are definitely in. Now here's the next question. See what it says. Which of the following is not a valid arrangement of persons sitting from left to right? Which of the following is not a valid arrangement? Which of the following is not a valid arrangement of persons sitting from left to right? First of all, let us verify, the definite thing that we know is A, E, P, R, S. These three are always there. Now these 5 persons are always there. Who are the 5 persons? A, E, P, R, S. In that order. I mean, not in that order, in some order, but A, E, P, R, S are there in the group. So let's see which of the options violate this condition, right? Here we have got A, P, A, E, P, R, S. A, E, P, R, S. Yes. A, E, P, R, S. Yes. A, E, P, R, S. Yes. A, E, P, R. S is not available. You see, in option 4, we don't have S. And we have understood in detail earlier that S is definitely a part of the group which takes these 6 chairs. So since S is missing, I can say option 4 is the answer. Don't worry about the arrangement. We are not worried about the arrangement. First, we are looking at the group. I know that in the group, these 5 persons have to come. A, P, R, S have to come. And in option 4, we don't have S. So clearly, option 4 is the one which is not a valid arrangement. You getting it? Option 4 is not a valid arrangement. Suppose if all the 4 options had satisfied the grouping, then we would have looked at the arrangement. The condition that we know is no 2 girls sit in adjacent seats. So maybe we would have verified that. But that's not needed in this case because, A, E, P, R, S have to be a part of this group. And moreover, you see condition, option number 4 violates one more condition. R and E cannot be together. We know that they do not sit next to each other. In option number 4, R and E are also together. So even if you have not understood this part, the 5-person group here, you could eliminate option 4 based on condition number 4, that R and E will not be sitting together. So option 4 is the answer. Let's go to the next question. Here's the next one. So the next question says, if P is sitting at the extreme left end, then who would be sitting at the extreme right end? If P is sitting at the extreme left end, then who would be sitting at the extreme right end? So what is the question? It says if P is sitting at the extreme left end, then who could be sitting at the extreme right end? P sitting at the extreme left end, who could be sitting at the extreme right end? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are the 6 seats, right? P is sitting at the extreme left end. So this is the extreme left end, right? Extreme left end. Who is sitting at the extreme right end is the question. Extreme right end is the question. Now if you go by the conditions given, we know that A and P have to be together. Either A, P or PA. Since P has taken the first position, the extreme left position, the only place where A can come is this one, because these two have to be together. So P and A are fixed, right? So, and again out of the group, we know that A and E are definitely in, P, R, S are in. So we have arranged A and P, we have to arrange E, R, S and also find out the other boy there. If you go by the gender, this is a girl and here we have a boy. What are the other possibilities? We can have, there are 2 possibilities in my view. We can have the arrangement as follows. Girl, boy are anyway fixed here. Then the other 4 can be girl, boy, or anyway, girl, boy is fixed here. It can be girl, boy, girl. Any other way of doing it? Girl, boy. Yeah, there's one more way. Girl, boy. Maybe this is a boy and girl and boy and girl. You see, the girls are all not together. Girl, or you have this way or this way, right? They're never together. Any other way there? So basically this is fixed. The first 2 positions are fixed, right? Girl followed by a boy. We are working on the last 4 positions in terms of gender. So it can be girl, boy, girl, boy, girl, or boy, girl, boy. Any other possibility? Can we say boy, girl, boy? No, girls should not be together, right? Yeah, I think these are the 3 ways of doing it. Right, these are 3 different ways of doing it, right? Now, if you look at it, let's say, we have to consider all the possibilities, right? So E is the other boy, right? See, we know that A is a boy, E is a boy, P, R, S are girls. So E is the other boy. By any chance, if E comes here in this position, if E comes in this position, right? This position, right? Let's say E is in this position. So I'm considering condition number 1, right? According to condition number 1, let's look at condition number 1 first. I mean, case number 1, case 1, case 2, and case 3. So according to case number 1, what happens? If there are two ways, there are two positions where R can come, where E can come. E can either come here or here, right? So let's say if E comes here. If E comes here, we know that R cannot come in these two positions. Yes, no, R cannot come in these two positions because E and R should not be together. If R cannot come in these two positions, then R has to come here. R has to come here. And yeah, the two girls are and who are the other two girls? Okay, sorry, this is a boy, right? Hold on. Yeah, I think we've got the answer. Look at it. If E comes in this position, then what happens? E and R should not be together, but R is definitely a part of the group. So if E and R are not together, R cannot come in these two positions. R has to come here only, but this position is blocked for a boy and R is a girl, we know. So R cannot come here as well. R cannot come here as well. Which means while in terms of gender, case number 1 is valid. Girl, boy, girl, boy, girl, boy. But when you actually try to do arrangement, you will find that you cannot arrange them in this way. Because R cannot take the last position. R cannot take the last position. The last position is reserved for a boy. According to this, the last position is reserved for a boy. R cannot come here. Yes or no? Can R come in this place? No. If E goes there, I mean again, if E comes here, right? If E comes here. What if E comes in this? So one case we have verified. Let's look at the other case within case 1, right? What if E comes here? So we are trying to find out who will come in the last position. That's the question, right? Who could be sitting in the extreme right hand? So far we have not got anything, right? But let's say if E comes here in this position. If E comes here, then we know that R, who is a girl, cannot be a neighbor of E. So R has to come here. And then the other person who comes here is S. And the boy, one of the other boys, right? Either B or C or D can take this position. So I think E can take the last position. E can take the last position, right? E can come in the last position. Yes or no? Without violating any of the conditions, E can occupy the last position. E can occupy the last position, right? E can occupy the last position. So if E can occupy the last position, I think I can eliminate option 3. Because option 3 says that the last position can be occupied only by S or by R. But we have proved that the last position can be occupied by E as well. You know, last position can be occupied by E as well. So that is done. Option 3 is eliminated. In all the 3 options, we have got E. So these 3 options hold true. Let's look at case 2 now. So we are done with case 1. Let's look at case 2 now. So I'll clear this up. Right. Let's verify the case 2 now. So case 1 we are done. Let's look at case 2. According to case 2, okay, sorry, I should not have cleared the first 2 positions. What are the first 2 positions? P sitting at the extreme left hand, and then A comes here. Now verify case 2. Case 2 says that the occupancy should be girl, boy, boy, girl, right? So according to case 2, the last position should be occupied by a girl. Who are the other 2 girls that we have? R and S. Can R come here? Can R come here? R can come. Let's say R comes here. If R comes here, then the boy E should not, sorry, you understand? I think I should highlight something. We have verified case 1. So I'll trust you're able to follow, right? We have verified case number 1. So we are not looking at case number 1 now. Forget about case number 1. We are looking at case number 2 now. Right? Case number 2. According to case number 2, the last position should be occupied by a girl. It should be a girl. Now there are 2 possibilities. Either R can come or S can come. If R comes here, what happens? If R comes here, then the condition says E cannot come here. See, the next position should be a boy, right? It has to be a boy. Look at case 2. It has to be a boy, right? But can that boy be E? No, boy cannot be E because R and E are not together. So then E has to come in this position, right? The only other place available for the boy is this one. So E has to come here. And then the girl S will come here. Yeah, and the third boy, either B or C or D, can take this position. So we have not violated any of the conditions and we have got it. So R can also come, which means in the last position R can also come. So we have so far found that E can come. Now we have found that R can also come, right? So E or R. But that does not mean that option 1 is the answer, right? Because more possibilities are there. But definitely option 2 cannot be the answer because it is E or R. So it is either E or R or E or R or S, right? Let's now look at the third case. This is cleared. Let's now look at the third case. So case 2 also has been verified. Look at the third case now. So in the third case, what we will do is, who's the other girl? Who's the other girl? Or I think within the case 2 itself, we can look at the other case, right? Who's the other girl? The other girl can be S. What happens if S comes here? If S comes here, then R has to come here. I mean, I'm going by case 2 itself, not case 3, right? We have not gone to case 3 yet. We are just looking at case 2 itself, right? In case 2, the other possibilities, the last position earlier we had checked by the girl R, now we are checking by the girl S. So if S comes here, then the girl R has to come here. E cannot come here, E has to come here. And the third boy can come here, B or C or D. So S also can come in the last position. So or S. Or S. Yeah, so we don't even have to go to case number 3. In case 1 and 2 itself, we have found that E can come or R can come or S can come in the last position. So R or E or S, option 4 would be the final answer. Right? R, E or S. All 3 are possible. So option 4 is the answer. I hope you have understood. I mean, we have to consider all the possibilities there. Right? Let's move to the next question. Here's the next one. Remember, A and E are definitely in, P is definitely in, Q is definitely out, R and S are definitely in, according to our previous analysis. Now look at the question. It says, if it is known that S sits in the third seat from the extreme left end and B sits in the second seat from the extreme right end, then who sits exactly next to 2 girls? Who sits exactly next to 2 girls? Try this. So 6 positions, like we all know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 positions. If it is known that S sits in the third seat from the extreme left end, S is in the third seat from the extreme left end. So this is the extreme left end, S sits in the third seat. So first, second, third, S sits here in the extreme left seat from the, in the third seat from the extreme left end. And B sits in the second seat from the extreme right. So extreme right is this, B sits here. Right? Mark their genders. S is a girl and B is a boy. Right? We know that the persons are A, E, P, R, S. So out of which he has given us the... Achha, by the way, we also have got to know that B is a part of this group. Yes or no? B is a part of this group, according to this question, right? He's talked about B. B sits in the second seat. So B is a part of this group. So we know who are the 6 persons. The 6 persons are B, A, E, P, R, S. But in the order, which order B is not very clear. However, 2 things are fixed, that S comes in the third seat from extreme left and B comes in the second seat from the extreme right. So B is fixed, right? And S is also fixed. Now we have to arrange the other 4 persons, A, E, P, R. So the question is, who sits exactly next to 2 girls? Who sits exactly next to 2 girls? See, person sitting exactly next to 2 girls means what? The person is between the 2 girls. Yes or no? If somebody has to sit exactly, how can you sit exactly next to 2 persons? Only when you are in the middle of those 2 persons. You got to understand this phrase very clearly, right? Who sits exactly next to 2 girls? This part of the question, who sits exactly next to 2 girls, implies who is in the middle of 2 girls. Yes or no? You cannot be next to 2 persons, right? You cannot be next to 2 persons. Otherwise, the only way to be next to 2 persons is to be in the middle of the 2 persons. So who is in the middle of 2 girls is the question. Who is in the middle of 2 girls is the question. You're able to follow. If it is known that S is in the third seat from the left and B is in the second seat from the right, who is in the middle of 2 girls? Yes or no? You have to be next to 2 persons. You can be next to 2 persons only when you are in the middle of those 2 persons. Now, how do we do this? See, some definite conditions that we know are that P and A have to be together. Either PA or AP. PA or AP, right? But they have to be together. And clearly P and A are both a part of this group, right? We know that P and A both will be a part of this group. So for P and A to have 2 consecutive positions, the only choice we have is the first 2 positions. Yes or no? These are alternate positions, right? See, P and A have to be arranged, and we also know that P and A have to be together. So clearly P and A will take the first 2 positions, either PA or AP, whichever way. They'll take the first 2 positions, right? And moreover, we can also say that it cannot be AP. It cannot be AP. Why can't it be AP? Because if you arrange A and P, what happens? Let's say you arrange A and P here. So P is a girl, S is also a girl. The 2 girls have come together. Is it allowed? Not allowed. No 2 girls are together, right? No 2 girls sit next to each other. So P cannot come in the second position. P has to come in the first position itself. So I can also fix their positions, right? I can say that the first position is P and next it is A. So that we follow this condition. No 2 girls are adjacent. So girl, boy, girl, and this is boy. Now understand. So P and A have also come, right? P and A have also come. And R and E have to be arranged now. E is a boy and R is a girl. Now, can another girl come here? No, girl cannot come here because already third position is occupied by a girl. We cannot have a girl here. We should have a boy only. And then there should be a girl. So girl, girl and girl, they are never together, right? No two girls are together. Who is the only boy here? E is the only boy. So E has to come in this position. And R has to come here. R is a girl. So I think the only way we can arrange these persons is this. PAS-EBR. PAS-EBR. Now what is the question? Who is in the middle of two girls? Who is in the middle of two girls? See, the person who is in the middle of two girls. This is a girl and girl. Who is that person in the middle of two girls? A. You're able to follow? A is in the middle of P and S. P and S both are girls. So A is in the middle of two girls. So answer should be option 1, A. Right? PAS-EBR is the only arrangement possible when he says S is in the third seat from the extreme left and B is in the second seat from the extreme right.